Right, so let's take a bit of a closer look at the unit itself. On the back of the unit, we've got our input, which is our 1/4 guitar jack. We've got our FX send and return. This has an actual FX loop in it. Then we've got a 1/4 output if we want to run guitar cable out. We've also got an XLR output. We've got a ground lift just to take it out any hum that might be present in the system. We've got MIDI in and we've got MIDI out. We've got a dedicated headphones jack, and then we've got the USB port, which is for editing softwares and just upgrades, etc., etc. Now, let me tell you about this unit. What this unit essentially is it's got 12 amplifiers in it. Now, each amplifier has an A and a boost, or a B. So there's many different ways you can actually use this. You can have 12 different amplifiers on this, each one with their own boost on and off. Now, the boosts are controllable and they're also adjustable, completely adjustable. You can choose what kind of boost you have on there, whether it's a pre-boost or a post-boost. Anyway, we'll get into that in a minute once we open up the software. There's a few other ways to use this. So if we look at our A, we've got our A there, we push our 2 buttons there, we head into our red parameters there. So we've got 3 banks of 4 channels. So that's our red one, then we push the 2 buttons in the center, and we've got our green one. Then we push our C buttons, as you can see, the 2 buttons together, and we've got our yellow one. So you've got a red bank, a green bank, and then a yellow bank. Now, within those banks, you can have 4 different amplifiers if you choose to, or there's many other ways you can actually use this. So what I actually do, you could possibly have 6 A and B amplifiers in this if you wanted to. So you could have a clean version of an amplifier, a driven version of an amplifier. Once again, each with their own boost, completely controllable. My personal unit is this unit, and what I actually do is I have 3 different amplifiers. So I have a clean version of every amplifier and then a driven version of every amplifier. So my red channel is a clean, a crunch, more of a crunch, and then a boost, a lead, and then of course I've got separate boosts on each one of those. Let's go through a few of the features that it actually has. So this thing has 30 built-in cabinets from the factory. It has 52 amplifiers built in. You've got 47 electric amplifiers, 3 acoustic amps, and then 2 bass amps. Now you can't upload your own amplifiers into this, but you can upload your own cabinets. It's got 5 slots for user IRs. There is a huge choice of actual amplifiers on this, and out of all of the MOOER amplifiers available, they put the really good ones on this. So some of my favorite ones that are in here, the Engels, the VHS, they're the VH4, they're just fantastic, beautiful, clean, and really nice driven and overdriven amps. All right, so the boosts can be pre or post the preamp, and they can be saved for each slots. So if you choose to have a pre-boost in there, they're basically clean boosts. So you might have like the MOOER Pure Boost, the MOOER Flex Boost. So they will just boost your top end, give you a bit more volume, perhaps a tiny bit more crunch if that's the way you choose to have it. The post boosts are drive pedals. So they've got the MOOER drive pedals in there. So you've got the Blues Crab, the Rat, the Tube Screamers, and there's a whole bunch more in there. And they will give you much, obviously, heavier drive sounds. Now, each channel can have its own choice of cabinet, obviously, and there's also microphones. You can choose your microphone, and you've got edge and distance parameters as to where you want that microphone. Okay, also has 2 noise gates. It's got a pre-boost noise gate and a post noise gate. You can use both of those noise gates if you like. It's all adjustable via the actual buttons on the top of the unit. So essentially, once you set this thing up, you can make simple adjustments on the fly as you're playing, and you don't have to actually connect anything if you don't want to. That being said, the unit comes with Bluetooth, and it comes with an app which you can simply download from the Play Store or the Apple Store. You can connect to this wirelessly just with your phone, and you can make any adjustments you want to your phone or a tablet. And that's super handy if you are somewhere and you just want to change one of the boost pedals. You can just instantly do that with your tablet. With this thing, you've got obviously effects loop, and I'm going to show you how I use the effects loop, because the effects loop is a really, really special thing in this. It can be saved on or off for each preset. So that's our effects loop here. You can actually choose to have that on or off. So if I wanted to save it off for channel 1, I could turn it off and then save channel 1 and it would remain off. Then if I wanted it to come on when I chose the second channel, I can choose that as well. I can make that, I can save that. Now, with these foot switches here, if we want to make adjustments, you can see obviously our lights moving as I'm making adjustments here. You can see our boost light there turning right up and down. Really easy to see on a stage and all happening in real time. Now, if I want to make some adjustments and I want to save it, all I do is I hold the pedal down until it flashes. And there we go, we've got our sound saved in there. That will save your gain level, it will save your volume level, it will save your boost level, it will save whether you've switched the boost on or off. It will also save your effects level, your effects loop on or off. Okay, it's also got switches for your cab sims. So if you want to run this unit into an amplifier, but you also want to run it into the front of house mixer, you can do that. You can run the 1/4 out into your amplifier and use the cabinet there, and you can use the XLR out to run into the monitor. Now you can actually switch the cab sims on or off for each individual output right there, which is super, super handy to have. You can get the software from the MOOER website, which makes it really easy to edit, especially on a PC if you want to get that sorted out. You can also upload the amplifiers, change the amplifiers within it. The amplifiers are actually in the unit, so you can still change the amps with your phone or your tablet just using the Bluetooth. It's there's a lot available, and you can get some free IRs at the MOOER website as well. It's got MIDI in and out, obviously, which you can use to expand the pedal system if that's what you want to do. You can make it integrate with other MIDI systems. It's really, really clever way of doing things. All right, so I'm just going to show you how I actually use this, because I'm currently using this in my electric band, and I'm going to show you how I use the effects loop with the MOOER P2, which I will get hooked up for you and we'll come straight back. All right, guys, so what we've actually done now, we've plugged the P2, which is this little unit from MOOER. We've plugged that in through the effects loop of the preamp live. Now the P2 actually connects to this foot switch wirelessly, which is fantastic. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you the sounds that I'm currently using in my band using this preamp live. So on my first channel, I've just got a clean, just got a little bit of reverb coming in from the P2 through the effects loop. You can turn the effects loop up or down if you like. Now what I've got here is I've just got that set to a nice clean, just a touch of reverb. Now on my next button here, which is my next preset within the P2, I've got a bunch of delay playing. Just like so. Then we'll go to our third one, which is just a little bit less delay. Just a little bit faster. And then our final one, which is more of a delay that I would use on a lead solo, as you see. Now I don't have any amplifiers switched on in the P2 because obviously this is providing all the sound. This unit actually has really beautiful clean amplifiers in it. I'm really impressed how sparkly and how punchy the actual clean amplifiers are in this. I have uploaded my own special IR into this unit, which I really, really like. But there's a bunch you can get off the MOOER website, and the cabinets in it are really, really good anyway. But I always have my favorite IR that I upload to all my units. All right, so I'm going to show you my sounds that I'm actually using live. So I'm just going to switch the delay back off. Now this is my clean sound. And on this channel, I've got then a flex boost. Right, that's my flex boost. On my next channel, I've just got a crunch. So that's really really just for, you know, rhythm, kind of a little bit of chug. But of course I've got the boost on there as well, so if I want a bit more, I can switch that on. Now if I want to change that boost, all I have to do is adjust that like so, and then I can actually hold that down and it will save it in that slot. Now because I've saved it with the red light on, if I go back and come back, the red light will be on because that's the boost switched on. So if I want to save it without the boost, I'll just I'll just switch it back to the green and then I'll hold it down like so. All right, so a quick description on how the noise gates work. If we hold our boost button down like so, you'll see it goes yellow. We can then dial up our noise gate or dial down our noise gate. If we push it a second time, we get the other noise gate. So we get our post noise gate and our pre noise gates. We can choose which one we want and which one's cutting out the best noise and what levels we want them at. And then we just turn it off by holding this button down and we save it, and it will save all those settings you've got in the noise gate. All right, back to my sound. So we've got a clean and a crunch. We've got a crunch and a bit more crunch. And then the third one is more of a driven sound. Once again, we've got another heavier boost. Switch it back off. Still a rhythm sound, but more of a chug, if you understand what I'm saying. And then what I always have on my last one is I just have the boost already switched on, and I have a bit more drive ready for a big solo. And generally what I will do is when I turn the solo on like so, I will also hit my solo patch for the delay, which will give me a nice You can, of course, turn more delay on if you want. Or somewhere in between. And then once I've finished my solo, I will switch that back to there. Well, the delay usually happens afterwards, but I can come straight back to any of the sounds that I was on, back to what I was playing. So that's how I use the actual unit. You can run this effects loop out into you know, obviously any product that you want to provide your, generally you would use that to provide your modulations, your reverbs, and your time-based effects like delays. The MOOER Ocean Machine is a fantastic unit to integrate with this. You run the effects loop through the Ocean Machine and back in, and then you have a huge choice of reverbs and multiple delays, and it just flows into this unit beautifully. And of course you got your level there on how much of the actual effects loops being, you know, shown and present in the sound. All right, so the reason I have 3 different amplifiers across the 4 channels in this particular unit is because I never know which guitar I'm going to bring to rehearsal or to a show. And the beauty of having a bunch of different amplifiers is no matter what guitar I bring, I know I'm going to be able to dial up the sound that I really, really like really quickly. I love having the large LED bright displays on all of the actual dials. You can see from, you know, a mile away exactly where all your settings are. Last night I was at band rehearsal and I was playing around, and I wanted to change the boost on my second channel. So I opened up my app and then dived into that, and then made some adjustments and changed that boost. So saved it, and then it was ready to go for the rest of the rehearsal. It was fantastic. All right, so I'm going to switch to my second channel on the red channel. And I'll switch the boost on. Alrighty, let's go to our third channel, which is just on the standard without the boost. Now straight away I noticed, you know what, that could actually use a tiny bit more volume. So I'm going to lean down, I'm going to turn the volume level up a smidge, I'm going to save it, and then when I come back it'll be right. That's still on the clean, on the cleanish version of the channel 3, which is obviously an overdriven amplifier. Let's switch the boost onto that and we'll see how we get. That's a fantastic sound. I love that sound. Once again, there's no menus to dive into. Once you've kind of set this up, even from the factory, it's set up pretty well. So you kind of dial in your sounds, you save them the way you like them, and then if you are somewhere and you need to make slight adjustments, you don't actually have to go into any of the menus. You can see everything there. You make your adjustments quickly. You quickly save it into the spot you want, and it's done. And usually, once you've done this a few times, you would never really need to change anything again. And you can have a whole bunch of different amps set up for different guitars. You can even have this, like I said, 12 different amplifiers, and you can have the effects loop to run your boost pedals if you wanted to. If you've got special boost pedals that you particularly like, and you just want to use this as a really punchy, clean, adjustable preamp, that's what it's for. That's why it's called the Preamp Live. I'm just going to jump on the 4th channel, and then we're going to talk about 1 or 2 more features. So this is my lead channel on the red one. Now I'm just going to switch to my bridge pickup. Noise gate takes care of any of that hum. It's just such a great unit. I love using this unit live, and it's so adjustable. Anyway, all right, let's jump into a few more features and we'll get the app going, and I'll just show you how to make some quick adjustments. All right, guys, so this is the MOOER Preamp Live app on my tablet. You can get this off the MOOER website. You just jump on the actual product itself, or go to downloads and then look up Preamp Live and you'll see it there. You obviously get it for Android or iPads, or of course you can get it for your PC, Windows or Mac. Now I've connected it. What you have to do to connect it is you actually have to put it into bypass mode. So with the actual Preamp Live, if you push pedals 1 and 3 at the same time, then it will actually go into bypass mode, and that's when it will try to send out a Bluetooth signal to be able to be found. You also need to have your location on your tablet or your phone, so it can pick up where it is. So once you've done that, it'll actually connect, and then you can actually turn one of the channels back on. The other option is if you did have this in your chain somewhere and you wanted to pick up an acoustic guitar, you can just press the bypass and it will actually bypass the actual preamp itself, which is awesome because that means you don't have to, muck around. I do play a lot of acoustic gigs as well as electric gigs, and I don't really like using the acoustic amps as much as just having my acoustic straight through. So I could have my acoustic running through this, just change my lead, switch this into bypass, and then just play an acoustic guitar for a song or two, and then switch back to the electric. All right, so this is the app itself. We've got our amps at the top here. If we click on there, you can see we can change our amplifiers like so. And all you gotta do is click on it, and then you've got your amplifier in there. I mean, there's a lot of amps to choose from. 47 electrics, I believe, 3 acoustics and 2 bass. You can see that there's plenty in there. There's Plexis, there's JCM 800s, there's 2 Rocks, there's Fender Twins, there's Fender Deluxes, there's Regals. I mean, there's just so many amps in here. There's a Mesa Boogie, plenty of Mesa Boogies in here. Those orange amplifiers. There's they got the Brown Sound. They've got the AC30. So, you know, there's just plenty to choose from. Anyway, that's how we get that. Now, you see we're on the preamp model up here. If we go to our boost, it's showing us that we, you know, basically if we've got a pre or post boost on and whether it's switched on or off. So if I'm going to switch it down on the unit here, you'll see the on button comes on. So now the boost is actually on, and I'll switch it back off. You can see. We've also got, you can see it's a post boost there. If we were to turn that to pre-boost, then we get obviously a different choice of boosts. So we switch that back and we get our flex boost. Alrighty. So this is just showing us where we are on our 12 channels down here. And of course we can make any of our adjustments here. We've got our cabinets here. Now I've got my cabinet in there, but if we were to choose another one, actually that's from the MOOER website, I believe. Let's just find one that's that comes with the unit, like so. Then you can choose your amplifier, your microphone, and you've got your distance from the edge and your center position there. You can also choose, if you switch the power amp on, you can change the tube sound of any of the actual amplifiers if that's what you want to. I reckon they sound awesome on their own, so I don't even bother with that. You've also got your MIDI controls down below. If you change anything, you can save it, obviously. You've got your bypass if you wanted to just switch everything on and off. And then if you wanted to change, let's just say we want to go to that one. You can see that's my boost channel. It's starting to feedback there, so we'll go back to there. And that's just basically a really quick navigation of how the actual app works. Now the unit itself actually has tone capture as well. So we're going to go into that in just 1 minute. All right, so we're just going to have a quick talk about the tone capture possibilities with the Preamp Live. So you can actually run this basically through your amplifier at home or someone else's amplifier, and you can take a capture of that sound and you can store it into this unit. You'll see here we've got a few notes here. So if we wanted to do our tone capture, we push button 1 and button 4 and we hold them down, and then it will go into tone capture mode. That's when the yellow one starts flashing. We're not going to do a tone capture on this one today because I've obviously got all the amps in there. So it will actually run you through, the manual will run you through how to do a tone capture of another amplifier. And once you've actually done that capture, you can then play the A version, which is the amplifier itself, and then the B version of what you've got stored in here. And then you can make some, a few adjustments to get it as close as you possibly can to the actual amplifier you're capturing. Once you've done that, you can save it into one of your positions, and then you can further adjust any of the settings via the knobs at the top. So you can, if it needs a bit more treble, you can give it a bit more treble, etc., etc. It's also got master presence volume, master presence there, and master volume right there, so you can make those adjustments there. All right, guys, so that is the MOOER Preamp Live. I hope you got something out of this video. I definitely recommend you get into the store and check one of these things out. The clean preamps, particularly in these, are fantastic. They're really clean, they're really punchy, and they do sound like real amplifiers in the room, which is what we're all chasing when we use preamps. The flexibility of being able to adjust anything in real time and save it with the touch of a button is just fantastic. So get down, check one out. I promise you, you're going to love it.